for another day of Read Along with Alane, and this week we are wearing the jerseys from our favorite sports team. Could be your Little League team, could be your favorite baseball, football, basketball, don't care what team. Just go get your jersey on while we're listening to this chapter. Today I'm wearing a jersey from the Angels, the Anaheim Angels, which I really love that team. It's a lot of fun to watch. They're just not far from here. So okay guys, where are we? We just left off with chapter 10 yesterday, and it was all about Hugo and Abigail meeting up with a crusty old sailor named Jasper, all right? So now let's back to the action in chapter 11. Now this chapter is from Abigail's point of view, and it's a new day at the Sarkana Witch Academy. So let's see what's going to happen, right? Abigail hurried to a history of witchery class. Witchlings were expected to be in their seats, ready to recite the witch's code aloud when Madame Grief hobbled in on her walker. Any noise or fidgeting, and the old witch would freeze, turning slowly to stare at the offending girl. Then strange things would happen. A whispering girl might find a frog suddenly leap out of her mouth. Or a squirming witchling might find a troop of fleas under her uniform to really give her something to fidget about. But that's not why Abigail was hurrying. Ever since Indira's mother had given her that spell book, Indira had used spells from it to get Abigail into trouble. The first day, Indira had cast her voice across the room, pitching it to sound exactly like Abigail's. She had tasted frog in her throat all day. The second day, Indira had made Abigail's seat hotter and hotter until she finally shot to her feet with a yelp. Madame Grief had not been pleased, which had earned Abigail an army of biting fleas under her uniform. So today, Abigail planned to get to class early so she could take a seat in the last row. If she was in the back, she could keep an eye on Indira and stay out of Madame Grief's sight. Abigail rushed around the corner and ran straight into another witchling. Calla! Hello, Abigail. The witchling's voice was cool as she leaned on her mop. I haven't seen you around, Abigail said. I've been busy, mopping floors and sitting in on classes, even though I don't belong here. Oh, Calla, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. The glitch witch's face darkened with anger. I saw you in town with that Balfin boy. You know why he's so nice to you? It's not because of your charm. He just wants your magic. That's right. That's all the Balfins want from witches, a token with magic. Just wait. He'll ask you for one. They all do. The girl shoved past, leaving her mop and bucket behind. Abigail wanted to follow, make amends somehow, but there was no time. She ducked into the classroom and quickly scanned the rows. Indira sat in the center, an empty seat in front of her. With a wicked grin, she motioned to Abigail to sit down. No chance. There was still one seat in the far corner. She raced for it, elbowing another girl aside, and sank down, sighing in relief. Behind Indira, Glorian and Nellie burst into fits of laughter, elbowing each other as if they were in on some huge joke. Uneasiness trickled down Abigail's spine. What was Indira up to now? Madame Grief entered the room. The girls sat up straight in their chairs and began to recite the code. My witch's heart is made of stone. Cold as winter, it cuts to the bone. The ancient hag shuffled her way forward, bent over her walker. Abigail tensed, waiting for something to go wrong. She stared at the back of Indira's head. The hateful witchling was sitting with her hands folded primly on her desk. My witch's soul is black as tar, forged in darkness to leave a scar. Abigail mouthed the words, but she began to sweat under her collar. There was a tension in the room, like an explosion was about to happen. "My witch's blood, it burns with power. Cross me not, or you will cower." Madame Grief was halfway to the front when Indira slipped her hand into her lap and lifted the old spell book. With a sly look over her shoulder, Indira opened it and ran her fingers down a page, her lips moving silently. A sudden charge of electricity made the hair on Abigail's arm stand up. She tried to speak the words to the next verse, but her voice wouldn't work. She opened and closed her mouth, but nothing came out. A heaviness settled over her limbs as if they weighed a ton. She stared at her hand, willing it to move, but she was unable to lift it off the desk. The door to the classroom quietly opened. Abigail had the power to turn her head, but that was all. The other girls went on reciting the code as if nothing at all were amiss. "My witch's hands will conjure evil, I plot and plan, I'm quite deceitful." Something hovered in the doorway. Abigail squinted, trying to see. Was that Calla's mopping bucket? It hovered in the air under its own power, then began to drift over the heads of the girls. No one blinked or even looked up as the bucket passed. Abigail lost sight of it, unable to tilt her chin back. "My witch's tongue will speak a curse to bring you misery and so much worse." As the last verse finished, the room went quiet. A cold drop of water splashed on her head, and then another. And then in a deluge of cold muckiness, the entire bucket spilled over her. The class erupted into laughter as Abigail blinked away the liquid. Soapy grit stung her eyes. Strength returned to her limbs, and she shot to her feet, ready to give Indira a thrashing, but the door flew open and Madame Vex swept in. "What is the meaning of this ruckus?" she gasped when she saw Abigail standing there dripping wet. The floating bucket dropped to the ground with a bang. Madame Vex marched over and held it up. "Who is responsible for this?" The room fell silent. She held the bucket higher, marching up the aisle to the front of the class. "One of you cast a clever spell and dropped a bucket of water over Abigail's head. Stand up this instant." She paused, and the pitch of her voice lowered to a purr. "So I can recognize that girl for being an outstanding witch." There were shocked murmurs. Surely they were all going to be punished or made to do countless magical maths exercises. But Madame Vex just smiled. "My little witchlings, have you learned nothing in the weeks you've been here? This isn't the Belfin School for Ill-Mannered Boys. It's the Tarkana Witch Academy for witches," she added for emphasis as she prowled back and forth like a panther in front of them. "And witches are wonderfully wicked. So I ask again, which delightful witchling used a magic like this?" Indira slowly raised her hand, but before she could speak, Minxie jumped to her feet. "I did it," she said. Madame Vex looked surprised. The entire class gasped. "She's lying," Indira said, leaping to her feet. "I did it." But it was too late. The rest of the girls had caught on. One by one, they jumped up, shouting they had done it, until the entire class was clamoring. Even Abigail joined in, grinning as Indira's face grew redder and redder. Oh, that's the end of that chapter. That's a really fun chapter. I love that chapter. It's really fun because we start to get to see a little bit of magic at work, right? They're witches, right? After all. And so Abigail is hurrying to class and she runs into Calla, and we can tell Calla's really still kind of mad at her. Her feelings are hurt, right? And then when our feelings hurt, sometimes we get mad. And she tells Abigail that all the Balfins want, the only reason Hugo's friends with her is because he just wants something. He wants magic from her, and just you wait and see. And then Abigail's in class, and Indira's just sitting there minding her own business until all of a sudden she starts messing around with the spell book, and suddenly the bucket of mop water is floating in the air across the classroom, and it's right over Abigail's head, and then kaboom, right? She's totally soaked, and then all of a sudden Madame Vex comes rushing in because I think she could just sense this magic going on. Magic's really powerful, and it leaves like telltale signs that witches can sense. She wants to know who did this, right? Not because she's mad, but because she's like, which one of you amazing witchlings just cast this really cool, powerful spell? And of course Indira's finally gonna be like, well, okay, I did it. But Minxie, that little Minxie girl, she's like, oh, I did it. And Indira's like, wait, no, I did it. And then everybody tries to take credit for it. So it's a really funny way to end the chapter. And Abigail, even though she's soaking wet, she's grinning because Indira didn't get what she really wanted out of that whole thing. So that was a really fun chapter. I can't wait to come back tomorrow and read chapter 12. All right, guys? All right, so that's it for today. Now you guys know what to do, right? Click the link and do some of the worksheets. There's some really, really fun worksheets. Some of them are word searches. Some of them are mazes. Some of them are like classwork. We get to learn a little bit more about things in the book and about grammar and things like that. So guys, I want you to be doing them. And if you do them, you can always send them, mail them, scan them, email them, whatever you want to do. So Miss Alane can see them and share them on her YouTube channel. All right, guys. So that's it for me today. Come back tomorrow for another chapter. All right. In the meantime, get outside, get some fresh air, read some books, right? Maybe hang out with your parents a little bit, have some fun, but most importantly, stay healthy, stay happy, and Alane will be back tomorrow, all right? See you guys, Alane out.